Welcome to Create Your Own Economy podcast, the weekly podcast that equips you with the know-hows, the strategies, tools, and resources to create your own economy, grow your business, and live the life you desire. If you have not done so, hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Bunmi Ajibade, and today I have a special guest, Janell Borrero, and today she will discuss how she thrived against all odds. She had many odds against her. Growing up, there was no one to look up to. All she could see was limitations everywhere. But she knew that was not enough, and she decided to do something about it. She got an education, and she built successful businesses. Janell, I cannot wait to hear your story of resilience and tenacity. So, welcome to the Create Your Own Economy podcast.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about Janell, and I have a bio here. So she is a true inspiration. Janell has broken many barriers as an entrepreneur and as an instructor through her business. Her business is called JBP Accounting, Inc., and she is based in Florida. Am I right? Yes, she's based in Florida. Janell grew up in Chicago, Illinois, where she learned to be tough and enabling her to break many Latina statistics. She's my new amiga. However, finding purpose and success required her to embrace failure and commit to personal development. And I really want you, as I'm reading this, I want you to think about what she has had to go through, because that is the story of all of us, if we have to be sincere. But it's how we walk through that. And that is what she has done. She has walked through that, and she will be sharing that with us. So her drive led her to write her debut book, Loving a Bipolar Bear. And I hope she will come back and really talk about that book. And I'm going to lay my hand on one also, and which is a testament to her resilience and determination. Janell is the host of a podcast called She Who Thrives. That is her podcast, She Who Thrives, where she sheds light on women who have faced incredible adversities and achieved success. I want you to go and subscribe to that podcast, She Who Thrives, so that you can also learn from other people and really see how you also can learn one or two things from other people and the steps they have taken to overcome obstacles in their lives. Janell enjoys being outdoors and surrounding herself with nature. Today, I hope Janell's experience in coaching and supporting business owners will provide valuable insights to you, our listeners. Again, welcome, Janell.
Thank you.
So, what inspired you to start your own business?
Honestly, lack of money is one thing. Another is I was in corporate world for a very long time. And then from corporate world, I went into government, and being in government, it wasn't for me. I am such a bubbly person. I'm an artistic person. I'm outgoing, and being in corporate and government just didn't fit my personality. So when something doesn't fit your personality, you're gonna resent going to work. You're gonna not want to show up. You're not gonna be your best at what you do. So at that time when that was happening, going to work in the government world, it was rough, and being around people that just weren't happy either at work just took a toll onto me. And at home, me personally at home, I was going through someone, which is the reason why I wrote Loving a Bipolar Bear. I was in a marriage with someone that was battling mental illness. So that home front was not the best at the moment. Dealing with the mental instabilities of someone else that basically brought out my own mental illness. And just all of it just didn't go well. It didn't go hand in hand. So I told myself, how can I get out of this, but still maintain a roof over my head, still put food on my table? So I decided to leave the government sector and look for something else that just aligns with me. And at that time, I came across a performing arts theater that was looking for, the title was office manager accountant, because of course funding in nonprofit organizations, they have to make sure, people wear several hats because of funding. They got to keep close hand on funding. So I was like, all right. And they weren't going to be able to pay me as much as I was worth, but we worked out a deal where they knew I was going to open my own business on the side and also work with them. So it was just perfect. Okay. And that's what inspired me, was just all of that. Plus, with their help, I was able to start JBP Accounting and turn it into what it is today, which is getting revamped as well. Because now from JBP Accounting is going into what I call CFO, which is CFO, but it's going to be for women in the beauty industry. So I put CFO as a play on the words with she, and I have the trademark application in for CFO as well.
Yay!
So it's just, I tell people you can have a business and for the money, but is it really bringing you happiness? So I did JBP Accounting merely for that money at the time, and I'm great at what I do. But now at the point of my life, I'm past your 40s. I tell you, everything changes. At least for me, it changed completely. Now it's like I don't care about what other people have to say. I care about what I have to say, what brings me happiness, what brings me joy, and really being my authentic self. So it's like, all right, from JBP, and of course this came from, divorce and everything else that in between. And now I have created CFO and been turning it into something that it's been so much fun. I get to work with many different women and give them my expertise in what I do and what I have my degrees in and all of that. So I've meshed the best of both worlds, and I'm just loving it,
Oh my goodness. Come on, girl. You just speaking my language, Look, this is amazing. If you all heard what she said, when you have to identify it yourself. When you are in a situation, you have to say, you know what? I'm not happy. Things are going on at home. Then you are on a job. You don't like the job. The people you are working with, they also don't like the job. So you are in the midst of people who everybody is miserable. Hello? Then on Monday morning, it's like, what is today's Monday? Oh my goodness. I don't like the job. And then I will be in the midst of these people that I don't like. And I can't wait to get out. My question is, what are you doing to get out? What are you doing to get out? What are you doing to get out? And if something doesn't fit, what are you doing to align with what fits? And I know many people, they are kind of looking for, how do I know what aligns with who I am? So how do you know that this aligns with who you are? How do you know that?
How did I figure it out? It's all by trial and error.
How would our people also figure out?
Yeah.
How?
I honestly tell people, try things for the very first time, because you never know if you're going to enjoy it unless you try it. So you have to be very comfortable with being uncomfortable. So as many people I speak to, everyone thinks I'm such an extrovert, and I'm truly not. I'm truly such an introvert. I tend to be very shy. I tend to like to be by myself and re-energize and recharge. And that's the true definition of an introvert. I'm okay with being days by myself, believe me. But what I did was, I seen different things that I wanted to do and I went for it. And if I didn't like it, then I'll never do it again. But then if I loved it and enjoyed it, then I kept on doing it. So, and that was the same thing that I did with business. All right. Like I worked in the beginning as true entrepreneurs do, that you try to take any job that comes your way. So that way you can make money. The cash flow's coming in. But then when you're doing that, you're not aligning yourself with the people that really give you back your energy. You're dealing with people that are basically vultures, and they're taking to take from you. And then they don't really appreciate you or value you, and they're not paying you what you should be paying. So you're working so much for so little money, and it's draining you. So you start to think like, all right, why am I feeling drained? Then if I feel like this and I feel like crap, why did I even leave the government sector or whatever job I was in for something that's going to be the same thing, and I'm not even making as much money as I was making there? That's my analogy with all of it, or analyzation behind it all. So I kept on, I was like, all right, there has to be something different than this. So I kept on trying and kept on trying. And then I started realizing the people that I was choosing to work with. So it's like, all right, I had to learn how to value myself. Yes. So in order to value myself, what can I do for that? So I started looking into self-care. I started looking into really, and at the time I had my education and everything, but I was very quiet about my degrees. So I started learning how to put that in the forefront and letting people know, no, I am educated. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. Yes. Then I started, okay, being in a minority group, a lot of the times, if you come out and defend yourself, and they'll be like, oh, she's too aggressive. No, I'm defending myself. So I learned how to speak up for myself, no matter who it was. Yes. So I started doing that. And then as the years go by, I realized, okay, if this person gives me anxiety, they're no longer for me. So even if it's a client, if I dread going into a business meeting and I feel all of that anxiety, it's time for me to let them go, because your body tells you who to work with, who you shouldn't work with. But we tend to not listen to it all. So with all of that, and with over time, I just kept on trial and error and seeing where I was at. And I love the arts world. I love looking pretty. I love, different outfits. I didn't like corporate world where suits and dull colors. I like to be colorful, pink. I love my nails. This is not corporate world nails. So I wanted to be someone who I am. And I have the other thing that is really frowned upon in corporate world and government world is tattoos. I love tattoos. So it's like, so I have, tattoos here and all that, but it doesn't tell any, just because I have tattoos doesn't make me any less professional or not as smart as the next counterpart. But I wanted to be able to do all of this, but surround myself with people that are going to accept me and still value me with what I bring to the table. So I'm like, all right, who are those type of people? That's the type of people I want to be around. So the other thing was like, all right, women is who I want to encourage a lot, because I was in a male dominant world for a very long time in financials and stuff like that. It's very male dominant. So I was like, I want to be around women. We fuel each other. And then I wanted to be in an area where, you give yourself self-love, self-care, everything. And it's like women in beauty, they relate to me. And I relate to them. They have, the only thing that they lack, I can bring. Yes. So let them be the CFO, the CEO of their company, and I'm just going to compliment you by being the CFO of your company. And that's what I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. And I had hired a few girls that they needed their job as admin. They were working as administrators, and they had their license in cosmetology or esthetician and things like that. I was like, you know what? How can I blend these two worlds together? And that's where it all came about. It's just the trial and error of everything. And having those experiences. If you're afraid to have those experiences, you're never going to be able to grow to your full potential. So never hold yourself back. And being depressed or having the anxiety is because you're telling yourself and you're telling your body, no, you can't do something that it really longs for. So yeah, it's just pushing yourself to go outside of your comfort zone.
Wow. There was something you said, to value yourself, because I think when people see us women, and when we come out to say, this is who I am, this is what I have, it's like, oh, you are pushy. You are doing too much. Yeah. No, I'm not doing too much. I'm just letting you know that I know what I know, and this is what I know. I'm not being pushy. I think it's really very important for women to say, you know what, this is me, this is what I know, and it's okay. It's okay for women to say, I know this. I know this. And they shouldn't be afraid, whether we are minority, but we shouldn't be afraid to say, I know it. I know it. And I understand what you are saying, because for me, it was like, oh, you have an accent. I said, I was a national trainer and a coach in a Fortune 500 company, and it was, you have an accent. And what I always say is, where is your own accent from? Because it does not take from what I have here, right? So I think we need to value ourselves. When you value yourself, you bring something to the table. And we should not apologize for that.
No, never.
Never. You are, for those of you listening to us, do not apologize for who you are, for the knowledge that you have paid for the understanding, for the wisdom that you have. And when you are giving it, we hope you are not giving it in arrogance. When you are not giving it in arrogance, do not apologize for what you know. There was something else that you mentioned also, self-development. And I want you to say something about that, because I also went to school. I have my degree. What is the role of self-development in your mindset to where you pivot your career right now from the accounting firm to right now you even trademark something. So what is the role of self-development in that?
The self-development I started, so we're gonna take it back.
Okay.
I started at a bank at the age of 18. I started there as I think it was a receptionist was my first title. And I come from, what people consider inner city Chicago. So we don't have the luxuries or the resources that other people may have. And being first generation here, it was, we were taught to just graduate, find a job, work, pay bills. That was the order. And when I started working at this bank, I started working at a bank that was outside of the neighborhood that I grew up in. And it's in the north side of Chicago. So in the north side of Chicago, it's diverse, way more diverse than where I was at. But the diversity, it wasn't just ethnicity, it was also monetary. So I was the only one that was working there from the neighborhood that I come from. Everybody else came from either their families had money or their spouses had money, well, their family. So they were well off. They didn't need, some didn't even need to work. They were just working just to work. Some of them, one of them, he has basically was one of the ones that started the bank years ago before it got bought out by the bank we were working for now. So I was in such a diverse area of knowledge. So me just sitting around and looking at everybody and just me being this receptionist, I was like, how can I be one of them?
Wow.
How can I be one of them and be outside of where I come from? So no one there really knew where it came from. I really didn't talk about it or anything, but I used to have to get up and, all right, see everybody, and then take a long bus ride, 2 buses to get back home. And everybody there had cars. I was the only one that didn't have a car. So after a while, one of my coworkers was like, her husband bought her a new car. So they had this car and they were like, well, we're willing to sell it to you. I was like, I can't afford that. I can't afford a car or whatever. And she was like, hello, look, where do we work at? We work in a bank. So she helped me get the car, all of this. And I had my very first car. And from that, when she tells me that, she's like, it's not only what you know, but who you know. And surrounding yourself with certain people that are going to help lift you up there. And from back then it was like, wow, like, people are here willing to help you out. And many people, if they come from the area that I come from, a lot of the times people don't want to help you out. People take joy of your failure. So being around different mindsets and different people that are, have the education, have the wealth, have all of that, they think completely differently. So surrounding myself with that environment where I was like, all right, I just have a high school diploma. What can I do to get to where they're at? So I worked at the bank. They also helped with the education, but the education I have to be something similar in finance or whatever. And from there, I started working full time. I started going to school full time. That's when I got my bachelor's. Then I kept on going and I kept on moving up in the bank. And that's when I got my first master's. And I kept on moving up and I kept on surrounding myself with people who were smarter than me. And having those conversations, I was able to gravitate to them. And sometimes I felt really, really dumb because how you say you have your accent, I have my own accent. Although I'm here, I speak English, but my family speaks Spanish, but also I come from the neighborhood that we did not speak, proper English, or we didn't have a large vocabulary that, so when I I would surround myself with people. I was scared to speak because I didn't speak. I didn't know how to articulate myself correctly, or I didn't know how to use words that made me sound so smart or anything like that. So I was very shy and I was afraid to speak. And I just kept on listening to other people speak in conversations and lunch. And I really want to speak like that. So I just had to really practice, and I messed up many times. I made up words many times, but I just kept on and kept on. So it was me having to break away from what I was taught and learned and was learning for so many years, to surround myself with people that really were going to push me up to the next level without them knowing, because they had no clue what they were doing for me.
They didn't know, where you were coming from.
Right. So, without their knowledge. And then I ended up getting my second master's, and that's when I moved here. And I was in the bank for over 11 years. And then I moved here, and leaving Chicago and coming to Florida was a whole different story. But it was something that I had to say I needed, because I needed to break away from what I knew, so that way I can really flourish into the person that I am today.
Perfect. Because that self-development is really very important, because you cannot develop a business if you stay the same. If your mindset stay the same on a business for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the business cannot grow.
No.
And if the business cannot grow, where would you go?
Right.
So it's really very important for you to attend seminars. Even if you cannot go back to school, you can attend seminars, you can attend workshops, you can read books. Is very, very important.
Literally, you're saying that I have 2 books here. I haven't finished this one completely when I started this one, because my brain goes like that.
So, exactly. It's really very important. I'm
always learning.
Yes. I told you I'm not in the house, so I have my book and my upstairs. Yeah, so it's really very important. And also surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you. You have to look up to somebody in the business. You have to look up to somebody. And I love Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar said you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who are you? Who do you want to look like in the business? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who can you call to ask questions about your business? So it's really very important. So in business is very important. Like she has just pivoted from, I'm sure you still do some accounting. Now she's moved on, moved her business or increased the business because of what you are learning, because of the awareness that you have come up with due to the learning about yourself that, oh my goodness, this is me. I love looking pretty. I love my nails. I love looking pretty. I love colors. Okay, how can I use that to my advantage? Who will be the people who will be my clients that will love makeup, that will love colors, that will love nails? Oh my God, women. Okay, what kind of business? So you have walked through all those. It is because of the development. Is because of the self-awareness.
Yeah, you have to be your true, authentic self and know what it is that you want and what's going to really bring you happiness. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind what is a problem that you're trying to solve. So I had to really hone in on that. Like, what is the problem that I am looking to solve? what is my solution? Because I can't just say, I'm going to work for women in business and that's it, women in the beauty business, and that's it. What is it their issue? What is it they're lacking? What is it that they need? Can I give that to them?
Yes.
So it was a lot of homework. It was me, a lot of research, me being around women in business, in the beauty business, me asking the questions. And I really had to do that homework. So I'd be like, I can know what to give them and what that solution is. So it took some time, but when you have that moment, it's like it's so surreal. Like, okay, now I have this down. I have it written in the paper. I know what I'm going to give back, and I'm going to go just full force with it. But of course, without all of the development that I had in the past, I can't be a resource to the women that I'm working with now.
Yes, I really want to thank Janell for this, and Create Your Own Economy podcast is presented by Clarole Growth Resources. We are an organization. We promote the growth and development of individuals through coaching, training, and mentoring. And we invite you to check our website. And if you want to start a business, you don't know how to start, you don't know whether you are ready to start your own business, you are listening to Janell talk about all this and you're wondering, oh, I really don't know if I'm ready. You can go to my website. We have a 10-point checklist. You can answer those questions and see if you are ready. Go to clarolegr.com/checklist. Take those points, take those 10-point checklist and see if you are ready. And, reach out to me and then we can talk about it. And we'll see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. The best gift you can give me is by sharing this podcast with your friends, your family, and reviewing it, which will help this podcast to grow organically. If you want to create your own economy and live the life that you deserve, join my next workshop or schedule time with me. My purpose may as well be to help you on your journey. Visit clarolegr.com/workshop. See you again next week.